Hi, I'm Michael Marin. At Holy Name Medical Center, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the important healthcare issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. Bloomfield College, offering small classes and big opportunities since 1868. Wells Fargo. PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. Healing begins here. And by Johnson & Johnson.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to a very special series we call Gone But Not Forgotten, where we look back at some interviews we've done with some people who may have passed away in American political and New Jersey history, but their impact still remains. On this particular edition of Gone But Not Forgotten, we look back at the extraordinary public and political life of former New York Governor Mario Cuomo. While he passed away recently, his speech at the 1984 Democratic National Convention struck so many, struck a chord in so many, connected with so many, moved so many. That speech, 30 plus years later, people remember, people talk about, and people still think about what could have been if Mario Cuomo chose to run for the presidency. While he didn't do that, he still had a tremendous impact on American political life. Here's that conversation from 2002 from the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, Mario Cuomo. We are joined once again by Governor Mario Cuomo, the 52nd governor of the Empire State, New York State. The role of the media, how has it changed the political dialogue and discourse, particularly with respect to politicians wanting to do what they think is right with a 24/7 all news, operation? Has it changed the discourse? Has it changed the course of politics?
Well, of course, the media, it has changed a lot of things. Certainly, it has had a huge impact on politics. The media, especially the electronic media that has grown up over my lifetime, the second half of my lifetime, has made this country, particularly, but the whole world, the best informed world ever. I mean, we've never had such a level of knowledgeability on the planet as we do now. Children astonish me with what they know. I mean, things they know when they're 6 or 7 or 8 years old, between the computers and the screen, the television. They know things I didn't learn until I was an adult. And so it's made a big difference. In politics, it's had a very bad effect because it has made television the most effective instrument for advertising your campaigns and your performance as governor.
What's wrong
mayor.
with that?
It's so expensive that it's required people to raise more and more money. And when you raise money, every dollar you beg makes you more vulnerable. And when you get into the really big bucks and you're spending, as they do in a state like New York for the next governor's race, $35 million, that means I have to come to Adubato and say, hey, look, I know you're a big contractor and you do a lot of business, you had a good year, and I know you're going to do business with the state, and you're not going to buy any special privilege from me, but I'd like you to give me $100,000.
What's going on there, really?
What's going on is that you are being forced to compromise yourself. Either truly compromise yourself, either this is going to be a real quid pro quo situation, although you disguise it in the language, or you're never going to really pay him back, but it's not going to look that way to people. It's going to look like quid pro quo, which is almost as damaging as actual quid pro quo.
Governor, I've asked countless politicians, New York, New Jersey, across the country, this question. I say, when you take a $10,000 or $15,000 political action committee contribution from a labor union, contractors, developers, whatever, does that person, does that group get any more access? Do they have any more influence to you? And to a person they've said, don't be ridiculous, Steve. Absolutely not.
Well, if
Is that the answer they're supposed to give?
it's not the truth.
Just not the truth.
No. If you asked it the way you just did, if you said to them, do you give them special favors? Do you give them policies, or do you make decisions to reward them? Then maybe their answer is closer to truthful. But what you asked was, do you give them special access? And the answer is, of course they do. Of course they do. What do you think the bedroom was about in the White House? What do you think these golf games are about? What do you think the president, vice president inviting all the heavy hitters, all the big contributors in the energy business to talk to him about the new energy plan is about? You think that happens to a guy in the street? What shot does a working guy in Newark, New Jersey, or in South Jamaica, Queens, my old neighborhood, who's now unemployed, especially if he happens to be Hispanic or African American, what shot does he have to get next to a governor and say, let me just tell you about my problem? You know, 2 kids, no job, you know, not well trained because of your lousy public schools. I just wanted to tell you about it. What chance does he have? Zero.
Can we change it, Governor? Is there any realistic chance? I mean, we can talk about campaign finance, the minutia of the legislation. Can we really change it at the core?
I'm going to be a literalist with you, because I'm going to take your words and use them. When you say we, if you mean you and I and the public, the answer is, of course you can change it. You can change it more. You've never been as effective as you are now, because this is the era of the sanctification of popularity. Now, thanks to the media, especially the electronic media, they can tell you every night where you stand in terms of popularity. As polls are taken every single day. Everybody takes polls on everything. Do you like the Nets? Should they build a stadium by the water? Should the government give you money? It says, should you wear blue or black? What do you think of casual Fridays? Everything is polled. And when a politician sees the poll, incumbency is so important to today's politicians. They'll do what the polls tell them to do. This means you have the power, you who speak to the pollsters, which is the community at large. You tell them, they'll give it to you. In this society now, it's never been truer that you get what you deserve because you asked for it. You wanted a $2 trillion tax cut in 2000. Country wanted it, you got it. And what did it mean? It means that we don't have enough money now to take care of Medicare, to take care of Social Security, to take care of education, to do the things that most people in this country really need.
But the governor, the people wanted that? Did you think the people said, we want this tax cut and we're willing to suffer the consequences, or we just want the tax cut?
If they didn't, it wouldn't have happened. They wanted it. Well, you might say that they didn't realize what was happening to them. Maybe so. But could the people have changed that? The answer is, of course they could have. All you had to do was read the paper more closely. All you had to do was watch an occasional public television show.
We get what we deserve, Governor.
You get what you deserve, and indifference deserves nothing good.
And our political leaders, very few of whom appear comfortable or willing to say, you know something? And I've seen you do this in the past. I know you say you want this in the latest poll, but let me tell you what's going to happen if we do this. These are the consequences. So I ask you, this is what I think is right. This is what you say, apparently, you want, but let's talk about it a little bit more. Why is that such a crazy thing, and why am I sitting there thinking, I just don't hear it?
Because that's the way you lose. Can I tell you, do you have time for one funny story?
Well, you're staying with us, so go ahead.
My mother came from another country. She was never educated in Italy, never educated here. Literally, not a day in school, nor my father. You talk about miracles, you know. These people didn't, they both died. My mother at 95, my father at about 80. Neither of them had ever had the privilege of reading a book. Imagine. But my mother was super smart. And in 1977, I'm running against Ed Koch for mayor of the city of New York. Son of Sam is running around killing little girls. And Ed is for the death penalty. And every time we appear anywhere together, he says, Mario is against the death penalty. I'm for the death penalty. What do you think of that? And they would boo me, etc. My mother says to me one day, she had a little grocery store, she and my father. In broken English, Italian, she says, you don't want the electric chair? I said, no. She says, why? I said, because it's no good, and I gave her all the reasons. Doesn't work, only the poor people go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she says, me caccio you want the electric chair? I said, yeah. She says, you know, a woman came into the store, how come your son is so big, is so strong, he's so stupid, and is so weak? Says, you're going to lose. I said, then I'll lose. I'll lose. You want me, Ma, to change my opinion on this just to win the election? That wouldn't be right. She says, listen, you don't have to lose. You tell them you won the electric chair. After you win, forget about it. See, now, I said that once at a Democratic club, and the guy in the back said, your mother was right. And a lot of politicians do that. See, their whole theory is, look, tell them whatever you have to tell them to win. Then when we get there, we'll do the right thing.
Doesn't work that way, Governor.
No, it does not.
Because?
You lose, you have no mandate. Once I tell you, don't worry, I'm not going to raise your taxes, and then I'm forced to, it gets virtually impossible. Poor Jimmy Florio, who was a great governor of New Jersey, was brought down by one thing. He was forced, I know because I discussed it with him, to go to taxes. But he had made the mistake of saying to people, in good conscience, I don't intend to raise the tax. And he meant it.
Was it a mistake?
It was a mistake if you look back on it, but he was honest both times. He was honest when he said, I'm not going to raise the taxes, because he didn't intend to. Right. And then he got there, and the situation was different. But a lot of people...
We actually have a governor right now who said the same thing. Jim McGreevey said, I'm not going to raise taxes. He has a $6 billion, as we talk, $6 billion budget gap. And I'm thinking to myself, why tie your hands behind your back? It may be an option. Or is it no longer an option?
Well, I'll tell you how you handle that. You get a really good thesaurus that gives you a lot of ways to redefine the word taxes,
Revenue enhancers?
Yeah, well, you can... But that's a problem. So the answer to your question is we can change it with campaign financing. Now we have McCain-Feingold, which is the beginning of reform. Very important because it says politically, yes, we can change this subject. We politicians have finally concluded that the people are getting on to us. Maybe we ought to change. What we ought to do now as a people is keep the pressure on the politicians on that issue.
Let me switch gears again here. Interesting. I have a piece of tape from the early 1990s.
I deny it.
No, listen to this.
I'm sorry I said it.
Governor, you're going to remember this.
Okay.
You're on This Week with David Brinkley. And you've got Sam Donaldson and George Will. But now Donaldson's asking you a question. And it was about the abortion issue. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And he says to you, Governor Cuomo, what about all these Catholics? They want to excommunicate you for your position on abortion, and the Pope, and others. And he presses you on the abortion issue, that you and other Catholic politicians who are quote-unquote pro-choice excommunicate you. And I'll never forget what you said to him. You said, forget all this argumentation about Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court will take care of that. You quoted your speech from Notre Dame, 54 minutes, and then you said, why don't we get all the pro-choicers and the pro-lifers into a room and help women avoid unintended pregnancies and to do it in accordance with their conscience. Do you remember that?
You're absolutely correct. And I did an op-ed in the New York Times that said exactly the same thing and did it. I tried doing it. And George Bush took that position in 2000 as though, I'm sure it was a pure coincidence, but it was as though he had read the op-ed piece and he said exactly that. And I cheered it. And we should have done that. And we should be doing it still. We should be trying to reduce the number of times that a woman has to make the anguishing, difficult judgment of whether or not to have an abortion. And, the notion that women in this country can have an abortion every time they want, that's obviously not true. It's Roe against Wade limits it very severely. Let me say something on that subject, though, that goes beyond abortion. There is a huge question that we're not dealing with. We didn't deal with it on stem cells. We haven't really dealt with it on abortion. And now euthanasia is raising the question again. What is life? How do you define life? When does it begin? Does it begin at conception? I mean, the Catholic Church, most Roman Catholics know, or Catholics generally know, that the current position is life begins at conception. Being. As soon as that comes together, that's life. And you can't have an abortion, even to save the life of a mother. Okay, that's one definition. However, for a long period in its history, the Catholic Church taught that life didn't begin for 40 days. That's Thomas Aquinas. That's right. That's St. Ambrose. That's St. Augustine. Those are three great saints. So these are difficult questions. Sure. And when you get to stem cells, can you take one from a fetus, which is more valuable in terms of answering a lot of our problems, than one that's taken from an adult, you run into this issue again. We're going to run into it with euthanasia. More and more people are living beyond the stage where they can enjoy life. That's part of the reason the healthcare system is so fouled up. Most of the money goes to that period, believe it or not, and leaves young women who desperately need health insurance because they have a breast cancer without health insurance. We have 40 million people not poor enough for Medicaid, not old enough for Medicare, and not lucky enough to have a policy because it'll cost you $10,000 for a policy if you have 2 kids and you're a 30-year-old woman. So you don't get one, you get breast cancer, devastation. You'll get your operation, but you're bankrupted, and you're still left without health insurance. Part of the reason for that is you're spending so much on the old people. And so the question is, well, should we? Shouldn't we give them an option to leave this life? Big question. Church, traditionally, euthanasia is wrong. And I think that's a good position at the moment. But it is changing in people's minds. So we ought to get together and try dealing with the question honestly.
As we tape this program, it's no secret what's going on in the Catholic Church. How has the Church failed, in your opinion, on the issue of the priests who have been accused of, and many of whom who have been found to have sexually abused children? How has the Church failed on this issue?
You know, Steve, I really don't think this is terribly complicated. It's distressing, it's awful, but it's not terribly complicated. If people in the Church failed, they failed by making a bad judgment, which is that if we have a priest who is abusive or who is a pedophile or whatever form the abuse takes, we shouldn't let the public know because they'll hold it against our religion and against our church. And our church is a valuable thing, and we don't want it to lose credibility. If you're a police force, you don't want them to know about a bad cop. If you're a lawyer in a big firm, you don't want them to know about a drunken partner.
We'll take care of it. We'll take care of our own.
Yeah, we will redress it. See, we'll redress it, and that was a mistake. Why? Because there you were thinking only of your obligation to yourself and your church. What about your obligation to all the people out there whose children and those children themselves? So that was a bad decision, and they've said so, and they've admitted it, the bishops. Now, maybe they were forced to admit it, etc. But a lot of them have admitted it. That should be corrected. The problem, but I think to see this situation clearly, you have to expand your vision a little bit. First of all, and this is not just theoretical or philosophical, it's very real. You have to keep in mind the difference between the religion, the faith, the fundamental truths of your faith, whether it's Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, are different from the people who administer it. Christ was a religion all by himself and in his beliefs before there was a church. And when he built the church, he started with his first pope being a guy who lied 3 times and denied him 3 times. An profoundly fallible human being. And he knew that. And he added another guy who betrayed him. And he knew that. And he knew that they were venal and they were small and they were subject to temptation. In short, that they were human. Priests are human. The church is a human institution. It has failed over and over and over again. The Inquisition was a terrible failure. We've had popes who had concubines, popes who were murderers. None of that touches the faith. It's simply a reminder that your church is made up of human beings. Now, at the same time, the church has had a much larger role in doing good than doing evil. And so for every priest you can name, I will name 100 who were good, solid, who never abused anybody, who gave up their lives for the people around them. And I think you can make the case for the goodness of, this is not limited to Catholicism or Christianity, it's true of all the religions. Now, on the question of celibacy, etc., Those are purely intramural questions
Are
for
they?
Catholics to deal with. Yeah, for Catholics to deal with.
Not just for the church leadership.
No,
for
us
us as
no,
Catholics.
we are the church. That's what 1964 says. That's what the Second Vatican
That's right.
Council reminded us of. Hey, look, I, those of us who call ourselves Roman Catholic or were baptized, we're all the church, and we can't escape the obligation, and they have to remember
What
that.
do you say on celibacy?
Well, see, number one, I believe, from all that I've studied, and I've tried very hard, I don't see that celibacy is a fundamental part of my faith, my religion. Why? But it can't be. We have 20 million Catholics who are Eastern Rite Catholics, who are just as Catholic as Roman
Different
Catholics.
rules.
And they have bishops and priests who are married. Roman Catholics have priests who are married with children. They used to be Episcopalian or Anglican. They convert, they bring their family. And so there is nothing fundamental about insisting that the person be celibate. And there's nothing fundamental about not having women. Well, there were no women there in the 12 apostles. Oh, for good, what, we're going to have all fishermen then? You should have, they were all fishermen. There was nobody who was a lawyer either. You mean a lawyer can't be a priest? Right. So I would say that's simply a question of when the church decides in its wisdom that it can get away with a change. Incidentally, we pointed out earlier, for hundreds of years you taught that life didn't begin for 40 days. For maybe 1,000 years you taught that you couldn't use interest in making a loan. That was usury and was against the natural law. You changed that. Right. You've changed a lot of things in your time. We said the Apostles' Creed and we said he died, descended into hell. We don't say descended into hell anymore. We've diminished the hell role.
We can change.
Not fundamentally. Can I presume to tell you what I think the fundamental beliefs are? Beside the virgin birth, which is the only thing we've taught infallibly, the church has taught infallibly for 2 years, it had to do with the Blessed Mother. The virgin birth and assumed into heaven. Both things that don't involve our conduct as human beings. Believe it, church teaches that infallibly. What are the basic truths? The basic truths of my religion are the same as the basic truths of Judaism and Islam. Two principles, and the Jews have it most neatly. The first principle is tzedakah. We're all brothers and sisters, all of us, whatever the color, whatever the accidents of how we look or smell or where we're from, we're all brothers and sisters and we're supposed to love one another, and that's not an option. You are supposed to love one another as though you're brothers and sisters. That's tzedakah. Number two, what do you do with this relationship? Very simple. Lock arms and try to repair the universe. It's a mess, make it better, period. And don't ask me to send you down another tablet. Right. I sent it down, Mel Blanc made fun of it, and I'm not going to do that again. You have to decide what's fair, what's not. That's called tikkun olam. And when the Christians are asked for their religion, they ask the founder of the Christian religion. In the street, the lawyer says to him, I understand you dazzled him in the temple last night. What did you say? That was so smart. And he says, I know you're putting me on, but look, I'll give you 15 seconds. I'm going to give you a 15-second commercial. Love one another as you love yourself for the love of me. And I am truth. And the truth is God made the world but didn't finish it. And you're supposed to be collaborators in creation. And they said, but that's Judaism. I'm a Jew. That's right. I started this new church. It has some nuances. But that's the essential truth of Islam, of Hinduism, of Buddhism, of Christianity. Do no evil, hurt nobody, do good, believe we're all brothers, and let's try to make this place better. That's enough for a lifetime, those beliefs.
Sure is, Governor. I have one more thing I want to throw at you before we let you go. I was greatly moved by this book that you wrote a few years ago, More Than Words, The Speeches of Mario Cuomo. I told you that I was there in 1984 when you spoke in San Francisco before the Democratic National Convention. I have used you in a lot of seminars I do on what does it mean to be a great communicator. I talk about you in a book I wrote called Speak from the Heart. The essence of great, powerful human communication is?
I don't know. I know some ingredients.
How do you do it?
Oh, I don't. Leave me out. I think what you have to have for great communication, Martin Luther King Jr., is a profound belief an idea, it doesn't have to be complicated, an idea that is profound, that is worthwhile, that is real, and a sincere commitment to that idea. And if you're not sincere, there are very few people who can give a really effective speech and not mean what they're saying. You have to be a real fraud to do that, a gifted fraud to do that, and I don't know many. The really good speeches, the Martin Luther King Jr. is the greatest speech I've ever heard, seen, or read. And it's because whatever else he was, and who knows, only God knows what's in your heart and mind, but he was obviously committed to the truth of freedom for his people, fairness for his people, and for all people, because he didn't limit that speech to blacks. And he was so right. The speech I gave in 1984, both Cronkite, Brinkley, and somebody else said this is the greatest reaction they ever saw in a hall. And it was a tremendous reaction, you were there. But the speech wasn't special. The speech didn't say anything unusual. The speech didn't use words that were magic in their poetry. It was the ideas, you know, the simple ideas that, look, we've got a country here that's the most powerful country in world history, and we've got more and more people in that shining city on a hill, but there were people in the gutter where the glitter doesn't show, and we're ignoring them.
But there was passion, Governor.
It was passionate, and it was a profound idea, and people knew I believed it. And so what happened is it was like opening the book of their life, and they were reading their thoughts. It wasn't me. They didn't know who Mario Cuomo was. They still don't. And so I know the necessary ingredients. You have to be talking about something profoundly significant, and you have to mean it.
Governor, on that note, I cannot thank you enough for taking this kind of time with us. You honor us by your presence, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
See you again. Thanks,
Appreciate
Steve.
it.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Bloomfield College, Wells Fargo, PSC&G, Holy Name Medical Center, and by Johnson & Johnson. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Did you know that the enrollment period under the Affordable Care Act ends February 15th? For those who are still uninsured, you may be eligible for financial support. But those who do not sign up for insurance must pay a fine of $325 or more. Every plan covers preventative care, doctor visits, and prescriptions. And with over 40 plans to choose from, you have every opportunity to get on the road to health.